That was a wild Martinsville finish. Alex Bowman squeezed out the win. Another surprise win fashion. Likes doing it after Kyle Larson won the last three. Denny Hamlin almost could have won that one. Then got spun out by Alex Bowman. Chase Elliott as well, but he got spun out by Brad Keselowski. A lot of spinning out, Andrew.
Tempers were flaring at Martinsville this week. I mean, even if you don't count the major guys, even like the back markers were getting into it. Like Bilicki taking out Bilicki. It was just a wild, crazy day at Martinsville.
And so let's recap our Martinsville picks from last week, and then we're going to get into our final picks for the championship race at Phoenix.
Ultimately, three out of the five plays or starters that were actually good for me. Truex, Brad Keselowski, and Chase Elliott all in the top 10, and coming home with 40-point days. While the rest of the field, or the rest of my lineup, did not fare as well. The other duo from Penske, Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney, they all went on to score less than 30 points. Although Logano was close, he was just 1 point short. And he rallied back to have a good top 10, although not enough for him to move on to the round of 4. Ryan Blaney and Hamlin got spun out, and he didn't have the stage points as an insurance policy.
My lineups, I had some of the same misfortunes. I picked the 2 playoff drivers from this week that brought up the rear with the Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano. Missed big time on Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski, or 2 caution plays from that week. I think I should have played at least one of them. But it turns out, no, we didn't play them at all. And they would be good anchor points for your lineup at the number 4 and 5 with the most points.
And other guys that I really missed on are, Bowman. I mean, that was kind of unpredictable. Byron, we were really strong on him, and for me, I just didn't roster enough of him. I think we should have done more of that instead.
Let's look at our top 8 drivers with the most points here. All of the Hendrick cars make this group once again. Alex Bowman being the only one with more than 50 points. Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, we've already mentioned on. Good 40-point burgers there. Eric Almirola surprisingly makes the cut. He makes a good top 6 day with some stage points and a good high 30s day.
Yeah, and then your top Chevrolet, top Ford, and top Toyota. Top Chevrolet was Bowman, and then really the first 3 were your top guys. So Bowman was the top Chevrolet, second place Kyle Busch was your top Toyota, and third place was Brad Keselowski as your top Ford.
So that's our recaps from Martinsville. Now we're going to head on to the final race of the 2021 season at Phoenix. Before we do that, let's cover some drivers here. I won't show the tier list just yet. I think we'll surprise you all with the tier list as we're covering some drivers here. But first, we're going to do it in some unorthodox order. We're going to save. We're actually not going to have one driver per category as we've been doing for the entire season. We're instead going to cover a few blind spot picks, and then we're going to cover each of the drivers that are going to be in the Championship 4. So Andrew, I'm going to kick things off with one of my blind spot drivers. That's going to be the 20 car of Christopher Bell. Christopher Bell's been very good on these 750 tracks with very low banking. We're talking the likes of Richmond and New Hampshire. So I surmise that maybe in Phoenix he can put up some good results as well. I think the one weakness about Christopher Bell at Phoenix is I do like his results at Richmond and New Hampshire a bit more if you're going to play him. And the fact that Joe Gibbs Racing is going to be putting all their effort into making Denny Hamlin and Martin Truex Jr.'s car the fastest, so Christopher Bell doesn't get the priority there, along with his teammate Kyle Busch. If you don't have, say, the top plays in the form of the Championship 4, and as well as some other drivers, and you really need to scrape the bottom of the barrel for a play this week, he could be a sneak play, especially for those that can't afford a more safe play with the Championship 4 drivers, or some of the drivers that got eliminated in the round of 8.
Bell with him, he's been really quiet, and he hasn't made any noise since, of course, his Larson and Bell feud at the Glen, and just based on that, he's really just not making mistakes, at these 750 tracks. I mean, the round of 12, he had those mistakes and things, but, at these kinds of tracks, he really shows his stuff. He really shows his talent, and he has the speed to do so because of how Adam Stevens sets his car up for the 750 tracks. So I think Bell's a solid play. I know practice and qualifying will tell us how good he is, but I think he can really he has a good shot at the top 10 and even the top 5.
And I'm going to give you another blind spot play that you can cover, Andrew.
For the second blind spot play, we're going to cover, I guess you can call him the king of Phoenix here, Kevin Harvick. He has 16 straight top 10s here, really 5.7 average finish here. On these short flat tracks like Phoenix, New Hampshire, and Richmond, he's at a 5.8 average finish here. Well, like from the last 2020 Richmond race to now, he's at a 5.8 average finish. Well, if you take out the Richmond race where he was running in the top 10, he's at average 7 stage points this year on those kinds of tracks, and he averages around 8 to 9 stage points here. So really, he's been going on 750, and it'll get you the stage points. I know you might be worried, you know, he might let the Champ 4 get through if they are behind him, but I think he's still going to be competitive and really just run the crap out of his car.
One thing I really like about Kevin Harvick, unlike Christopher Bell, he should have more ownership percentages. And another thing is, this is Stewart Haas Racing Ford. I think they're going to be equally balanced amongst all the cars. It's not going to be like, say, Christopher Bell, where, okay, his teammates, half of them are in the championship 4, and all of the resources and time spent tuning on the car is going to go towards those two. I think with the 4 car, especially with the Team Penske cars, I think they're all going to be equally fast.
Yeah, and I think also even with another teammate of Harvick, Almirola, that both him and Harvick are really fast at these tracks, and they have the experience, you know, in the past years since they are veterans of the sport. So if you're really looking for, I guess, more of a safer play, I know Bell's only been here for 2 years, but if you really want a more veteran driver that gets good results, I would lean more towards Kevin Harvick and Eric Almirola.
Those are a few blind spot plays. We'll forego some long shot plays and avoids. Not too interesting for this week. Now for the rest of our driver info, we're going to be covering our Championship 4 drivers. So that means we're going to have to forego the long shot and avoid plays. Andrew, you're going to kick things off with the 2 Hendrick cars that have made the Championship 4.
With the first of the 2 Hendrick Motorsports cars, we're going to cover Kyle Larson, the number 5 car. He's at an average 7th place average finish here, with 62.2 stage points at Phoenix, although all this being with the Chip Ganassi racing car and the Hendrick Motorsports car. I think he finished 6th or 7th here, only got near 2 stage points, but do remember that he had an inspection issue which placed him in the back of the field. Then to compound that, he had, I think, 2 or 3 speeding penalties, so it was not a great day for him, but they did show a lot of speed, top 5 speed car, and he was running even 2nd. So really, I think for him, he just really needs to limit the mistakes as much as possible and just race as hard as he can. And then on these other types of tracks, like New Hampshire, Phoenix, Richmond, he's been the 7th fastest car behind the Joe Gibbs racing cars, and I think even some Penske guys. He's averaged 5.25 stage points here, so it is a bit concerning, but I think Hendrick Motorsports, they're going to just bring everything with the 5 car and the 9 car, so I wouldn't worry too much about that.
If Kyle Larson is going to win this championship, he does need to take the numbers that he got from Richmond, New Hampshire, and some of the other short tracks this year, and then blow it out of the water. He needs to match the likes of Truex Jr. and as well as Joey Logano in terms of the numbers that they got, and transfer that to the results for that 5 car.
We're going to move on to the number 9 car of Chase Elliott. He's been a little bit better than Larson here at Phoenix, although maybe not too much, but in his past few starts, he's finished, in his last 3 starts, he's finished top 10 here. If you add a few more races, it's going to be around like a 13th place average finish, but you know, he's been really improving at this track recently. He's been the 11th fastest car on these kinds of tracks, like we mentioned, New Hampshire, Richmond, and Phoenix. He got you 7.5 stage points on these tracks this year, and really, I think if you looked at the Richmond playoff race, he was really the fastest Chevrolet. I think what really just impacted him or hurt him the most was that pit rope mistake where, yeah, the crew just, they dropped the jack to it or something. I guess it really just hurt the car performance and morality, and even though they did come home to finish 4th place, I feel like they could have won that race if they had not made that mistake on pit road.
Yeah, for sure. I do like Chase Elliott at Phoenix if you gotta play with him. If you need a good top Chevrolet, he's right there. If Larson doesn't suit you fancy, do agree with your points there. I do like Chase Elliott's numbers a lot better than Kyle Larson in terms of Richmond and New Hampshire with the 750 package. Larson was getting 30 points on those tracks, whereas Elliott was getting into the 40s, some borderline 45s. I'd say Chase Elliott is going to be a good top 5 contender, possibly get that championship, finish second or third or not. So that's the first half of the championship 4 that will represent the drivers that will compete for the 2021 championship. But now there's the other half of the championship 4, this one coming from Joe Gibbs Racing. I'll kick things off with one of those two, with Martin Truex Jr. of the 19 car. He sneaks his way into the championship 4 after edging out Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski. And he's also the Phoenix winner from the spring race earlier this year, so Martin Truex Jr. has that advantage over Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott. Martin Truex Jr.'s numbers at 750 tracks, mainly the short tracks, as well as Richmond and New Hampshire, they've been very, very consistent, more consistent to the likes of Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. And he's going to be an excellent starter if you have a play left with him for this week. He should, at the very least, get you a top 5.
For Martin Truex Jr., he's been really the best car for JGR on these short tracks. Well, at least most of them, I would say. Even last week, he was competing with Denny Hamlin for the win. Unfortunately, Denny got taken out, but still, I think Truex really stays out of trouble. Although Richmond, he did have that restart penalty. I mean, that was at the end of the race. I think we mentioned beforehand that he likes to create all of his trouble beforehand, but I don't think he'll have any trouble getting a good result here. I know his past results have been bad here, but I think they really just turned a corner on the 19 car and the 750 package. I expect them to get a top 5 and maybe even win the race.
I do like the idea that they're going to get top Toyota honors for this race, more so over his teammate and the final championship 4 contender, Denny Hamlin. Now the thing is with Denny Hamlin, the other 3 championship 4 contenders we had as the top plays, Denny Hamlin we're going to put in caution plays. Not because his 750 numbers this year have been that great. Matter of fact, the 2 Richmond races, he swept both stages and finished second in both of those races. This is more in line with the fact that this is a championship race. Denny Hamlin, he's been prone to making mistakes in these championship races. I'm thinking 2019 when his team put too much tape on the grill. But I do like the likes of Martin Truex Jr. if you want to go with a Toyota winning champion driver, as well as the top Toyota. I do like the idea of Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and Martin Truex Jr. winning this championship a lot more than, say, Denny Hamlin. I think those 3 cars over the 11 are going to be a lot faster than them as well. Phoenix is looking like a track like that as well.
Yeah, I think Denny does have a top 5 car, top 10 car, but last year was the worst of the Champ 4, and I think it might be the same this year. Or if not, he's going to be third out of the 4 guys, or third best out of the 4 guys.
So that's what we think about a few drivers from this week. I don't think you really need to worry about too many sleeper plays. Just get in whatever you have left available. Whether it be if you have a championship 4 driver, you might as well throw them in there. They should get you a top 5 and with some 30 points, because unfortunately with these championship 4 drivers they will not be earning stage points, so don't expect them, unless if they win the race, to get more than say 40 points.
I wouldn't dip down to any sleeper plays. At most Almirola if you need to, he's been really good here, but yeah, use up all the Penske plays, use up Kevin Harvick, use up Kyle Busch, use up maybe even Bell. But yeah, just look at the numbers, look at the results, and just go by that, and just, see how fast the guys that you're playing have been. Other than that, just go really based on the top guys.
So for the final time, Andrew, in the 2021 season, time to set our lineups here. I'll kick things off with some of my lineups. For starters, Jackuwarz 1. This lineup does not have a single championship 4 play available. Does not have Larson, Elliott, Hamlin, nor Truex. So we have to go with what we have best available. Here, I want to play the ownership percentage just because of my limited usages. So we'll go with what's currently the top 6 most owned that this roster has available, which is all of Penske, Kevin Harvick, Kyle Busch, and William Byron. With the bonus picks, that's where all the Championship 4 related picks are going to be at. I got Kyle Larson winning the championship, and this goes for most of my other lineups as well. Martin Truex Jr., I'm also big on the top Toyota. Like I said in the driver intro, I liked him a lot more than, say, Denny Hamlin. And there's top Ford, which is really a toss-up since not a single Ford made the Championship 4. But I do like Joey Logano's body of work here at Phoenix. He does get tons of top 3s here. A lot more than, say, Brad Keselowski or Ryan Blaney. Keselowski is a very close contender for this as well, but I think at the end of it all, I want to go with Joey Logano for the bulk of my top Ford picks.
Yeah, and for me, I had unfortunately saved all 4 of the Champ 4 guys in my JJYU 5AY lineup and my Andrew YU lineup. So I'm just going to throw them in. There's really no reason to not throw them in. I'm going to throw in Logano, and I'm going to throw in Byron. I think Byron's really a guy coming off some great momentum. I think he finished 5th at Martinsville in the fantasy points wise. So I think he's going to be able to carry that momentum through and carry that speed, as really he's just competed with these top teams of Penske, Jackuwarz Racing, and even Harvick. For my top bonus picks, I'm going all straight up Kyle Larson as the winner pick and top Chevrolet. Top Ford also straight up all Joey Logano, and top Toyota all straight up Martin Truex Jr. And I guess even like you said with Joey Logano, he's the top Ford here, or the only one that you probably should pick for top Ford. I mean, if not, you can lean off towards Brad Keselowski, as you said. I mean, last race Brad Keselowski was the top Ford, so really it's between him or Joey as that spot. And for top Toyota, just lean towards either Truex Jr. or Denny Hamlin, but I think we feel more confident towards Martin Truex Jr. And yeah, just the way he can just stay out of trouble and use these cars at the 750 package.
So our bonus picks are going to be looking pretty samey. It'll be Hendrick getting this championship with Larson, and then Joey Logano, Martin Truex Jr. with their top picks, with the top manufacturer picks. And then to round up a few of my lineups, besides Jackuwarz 1, is just pick whoever's left available. If there's a Championship 4 driver that's available, then it's in the lineup with, say, Chase Elliott and Martin Truex Jr. for World Network. Pick Stenhouse is the only lineup from me that has a Kyle Larson play, so it has that available. So that means we'll go all in with Larson there with the pick, and for the bonus picks for Waste Winner pick as well. The season finale 500 from Phoenix Speedway. It kicks off at noon Pacific Standard Time. That's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Eastern viewers. This is the last race of the NASCAR Cup Series season, so no races after this. It's going to be the Daytona 500 for the next points-paying race next year in 2022. We'll have one more video of us recapping the Phoenix race, as well as some things from the entire season. And then we wrap up the 2021 NASCAR Fantasy Live Picks series from me. So, thank you all for watching. Enjoy the season finale race at Phoenix. And we'll catch you next time for our recaps of the Phoenix race, as well as some honorable mentions throughout the season.
So have a good race weekend, everyone, and hopefully you have a good fantasy day.